Hello friends, welcome. Today's class, we're working towards crow pose or Bakasana. There's a few parts of the body we need to focus on. Firstly, with the shoulders and shoulder blades, we're looking for protraction. We'll do a couple of drills to start with to get a bit of a feel for that. And then we'll also work a bit of anterior core strength and a bit of strength in the hip flexors as well. We'll do a general flow as well to get to the rest of the body. But those are the things we'll start to focus on. So we'll actually start with warming up the wrists, and then we'll do a bit of a shoulder warm up, and then we'll look at that protraction. So firstly, for the wrists, take your hands into fists. Keep nice tight fists here. Just start to circle them in one direction. Personally, I like to warm up my wrists before every practice, but when we're doing arm balances, it's really important. Nice, and then rotating in the opposite direction. Keep nice tight fists. Nice, just getting a bit of movement, a bit of warmth here in the joints. Nice. And from here, take your hands out in front of you. Then try to flex your fingers towards the back of your forearms here. Keep flexing them down. You can bring the arms out in front of you and fighting for as much flex as you can. Bringing the backs of the hands towards the backs of the forearms. And now do the opposite. Take your hands into fists and try and curl the fists in towards this side of the forearms here. Curling them in, curling them in. And now going in opposite direction. Hold there for a second or two. And taking them back into fists. A few more times in either direction. You should, if you're really working this, you should feel those forearms warming up already. One more in either direction. And release, shake it out a little bit. This next one we'll do is flashlights. Take your hands out in front of you. And with this one, we'll add a little bit of bend in the elbows here as well. So from here, we're going to flick our fingers out in front really nice and firmly, like you're flicking water off of your hands. You could hopefully even hear the sound of the flick. And we're just bending the elbows in and out a little bit, just to get a little bit of movement here as well. And sorry, I didn't mention at the start, but what we'll also need for this class potentially is we'll need a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a t-shirt or a towel or something like that. All right, release that, everybody. And from here, we will grab that item. If you don't have it right now, of course, go and grab that, pause the video. From here, we'll take that strap or towel or t-shirt, whatever you've got. We'll take it up overhead. Create a little bit of tension on whatever you're holding here. Pull it apart and bend the elbows behind your back and lift them back up. The whole time maintaining that pull from side to side on the strap. You can start to add the breath in here a little bit, maybe inhaling as you reach up and exhaling as you come down. Nice, we'll do one more. The next time you get back up to the top, stay right there. For most of us, we're going to take our hands a little bit wider on the strap now, keeping the elbows straight or the arms straight. Reach the arms back behind you, all the way down, continually pulling the strap apart. Reach it back up, reach it forward and down. If you're coming up and it's really tight on the shoulders, you can't quite get it, take those hands wider. So we don't want this one to be too uncomfortable. You want to take those shoulders through, just through a bit of range of motion here to start with. Nice, breathing, pulling the strap apart. One more either direction. I'll do one for the rotator cuff. From here, take that strap, this time with the palms facing up and the elbows in by your ribs. And we'll just start by pulling the strap apart from side to side. All right, now this one, continue pulling with the left hand, but allow the right hand to win. The left hand is resisting really strongly. The right hand is winning. The elbows are staying in. Then coming back to the other side. Now the left hand is winning. The right hand is strongly resisting. You should hopefully feel this on the outside of the shoulder. Let's warm up for the rotator cuff. Let's do one more, either direction. And release. All right, we can pop our strap or whatever you got there over to the side for now. And we'll come to a tabletop position, so hands and knees. Actually, before we do that, we'll just look at what actual protraction and retraction is. So take your hands into fists, take them out in front of you, and press them forward. Feel the shoulder blades start to wrap around, and then come back into retraction, draw the shoulder blades together. Protraction, press the shoulders forward, keeping the arms straight the whole time. Retraction, draw the shoulder blades back. And one more time, protraction. This is the feeling we're after. The protraction is the opposite, the retraction. Do the same thing, hands and knees. Come to tabletop position, hands underneath shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. From here, keeping the arms straight the whole time, so not bending to come down. Keep the arms straight and soften the chest down into retraction. So this is the opposite of what we want in our crow pose. And then protraction, press the ground away and round through your upper back. So you want the upper back here to be the highest point on your body. And then come back down, retraction. Arms stay straight the whole time. Do a couple more. Press the ground away, round through your upper back. One more, retraction, arms straight. Protraction, press the ground away, round through your upper back. And release. While we're here, we'll do a little bit of spinal segmentation. So from here, coming to cow pose, so that's in lifting your bum up towards the sky, pull the chest forward with the fingertips. And we're going to, rather than going just normal cat-cows, we're going to go really slowly here. So begin to tuck your tail under and think about rounding your spine piece by piece by piece. So it's a nice slow movement. Feel the spine going all the way up to the neck. And then rounding chin to chest. Pause there. And then start with the tail. So begin anterior tilt, sticking your bum up towards the sky and rolling slowly through the rest of the spine. Pull the chest forward and up back in that arch position. We'll do one more in this direction, starting with the tail. Begin tucking your tail under, rounding through the upper back, pressing hands into the ground, tuck chin to chest, and then opposite, lift the tailbone up. Slowly rolling back down. Pull the chest forward. Neck is last to lift up. And now we'll do the opposite. We'll start with the neck. So with the neck here, begin to look in towards your chest, chin to chest, and start to press the ground away, rounding through the upper back, the mid back, and the tail is the last to come up the low back. And then we start with the neck again. So we're here in this protracted position. Begin by looking forward. Upper back comes into anterior, or into extension. Pull the chest forward, lift the tail up. We'll do one more here. Tuck that chin. Press the ground away, rounding through the upper back. Lifting up the mid back, all the way through the low back. Tuck the tail under. Again, looking forward. From here, the upper back comes into extension, the mid back, all the way through the low back. Lift the bum up towards the sky. From there, let's come to downward facing dog. I'm going to pop these over to the side. Come back to them later. Let's come to down dog. Lift the bum up towards the sky. I like to always start with a nice bent knee downward facing dog. I'm just trying to find as much length as I can. My fingers have a bit of grip into the ground, and those hands, rather than just being here, not doing anything, my hands are pressing the ground down and away from me. So I'm trying to reach those shoulders towards the ears. And if it feels good for you, maybe starting to straighten out the legs a little here. If those heels get towards the ground, get to the ground, that's okay. If they don't, also okay. The emphasis here is length. From arms, shoulders, through the spine, all the way up through to the hips. Pausing your down dog, take a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, bend the knees, look forward, and just walk to the front of the mat. From there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold Do that 2 more times. Hands to shins, halfway lift, extend your spine. Exhale, fold. 1 more time. Sitting up. Exhale to fold on down. Inhale, stand all the way up, reach up to the sky. And then bring hands to prayer. Take the feet a little bit wider. Inhale, reach up. Sit down into Malasana. I always include this in pretty much all my classes. I think this is a very important position that the body should be used to sitting in. Hold here a couple of breaths. 1 more breath in. Hands down, forward fold. Halfway lift. This time we'll step the left foot back, bring the back knee down to the ground. Press the back foot into the mat, slight little tuck of the tail here. Reach the arms up to the sky. Hands down, downward facing dog. High plank, inhale. Knees down if you need, or just chaturanga all the way down to the ground. And we'll take locust pose. Reach the arms back behind you, inhale, lifting everything up. Hands down, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, inhale. Step forward, Anjaneyasana, back knee to the ground. And root that back foot down, sweep the arms up to the sky. Hands down, step forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Sweeping all the way up, reach up. Malasana, exhale. Just 1 breath here this time. Exhale as you fold. Halfway lift. And right foot back, back knee to the ground. Reach up to the sky. Hands down, down dog. High plank, inhale. Chaturanga to the ground. Take locust again. Reach the arms back, inhale, lifting everything up. Hands down, down dog. Right leg lifts. Step forward, Anjaneyasana. Back knee down, sweep up. Hands down, step forward as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Reach up to the sky, breathing in, reach, reach, reach. And bring hands to prayer. Reach up. And fold forward. Halfway. This time left foot back into a crescent lunge. Come into high lunge, sweep the arms up to the sky. Hands down, downward facing dog. High plank. Chaturanga to the ground. This time we'll take dolphin with the fingers interlaced. So interlace your fingers, bring the arms out in front of you, elbows underneath the shoulders. From there, pull the chest forward firstly in Sphinx. Then curl the toes, lift up to a forearm plank. From here, we're going to come into dolphin. So walk the feet in as close as you can towards you. And with those forearms, press the ground away. So I'm not sinking down into the shoulders here. My head should be off of the ground. Press those forearms down into the ground. Hold there, take a breath. Then walk back out to your forearm plank. Then lower to the ground for Sphinx. Pull chest forward. And downward facing dog. From there, let's go left leg to the sky. Then come into hovering half pigeon. So the left shin comes forward towards half pigeon. Lift it up nice and high. Work those hip flexors. Hold right there. Press the ground away. Find that protraction round through the upper back. And then step forward into crescent. Reach up to the sky. Hands down. Step forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Stand all the way up. Reach up. We'll go through Malasana again. Take an inhale here with the chest nice and proud. Hands down, forward fold. Lift up halfway. And step right foot back, crescent lunge this time. Pull the feet towards each other as you reach up. Straighten through the back leg. Hands down, down dog. High plank. Chaturanga. We'll take that the Sphinx with the fingers interlaced. Pull chest forward here in Sphinx. Curl toes, forearm plank. Again, walk those feet in nice and close. Press forearms down into the ground. Maybe you can come all the way onto the tippy toes. Then walk back out to your forearm plank and lower to the ground for Sphinx. Pull the chest forward and then back to down dog. Right leg lifts. Then hovering half pigeon. So again, that right shin comes towards half pigeon, right knee towards the right elbow, right ankle towards the left wrist. Press the ground away, rounding through that upper back and hold. And then step forward into crescent. Press down through the feet as you reach up to the sky. Hands down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. And then bring hands to prayer. Hold here, take an inhale. And an exhale. From here, we'll do a little bit of core strengthening. Inhale, reach up. Sit down into your Bakasana. Take an inhale right there. This next part, you can use the hands to get down to the ground, or just reach them out in front, come into a full boat pose. Now your boat pose might be here, it might be here, it might be here, it might be here. So find your version of boat pose, legs squeezing together in whichever version you're taking. Hold right there. And then bring the knees in towards the chest, and we'll do crow pose seated. So knees in come nice and wide. Find your balance. Squeeze the knees into the upper arms and press as if you're pressing your hands into a wall to find that protraction even here with the shoulder blades. Bring those knees in as close as you can. Squeeze the knees in. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Come down into the low boat. Bring your hands to prayer. Try and lift chest and shoulders up and over those hands. Continue squeezing the legs together. Holding. 3, 2, 1. Come back up into a full boat. And then make your way through downward facing dog. Hold right there. Take an inhale. Forward, bend the knees. Walk, step, or hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach up, sweep up to the sky. And then bring hands to prayer. Same pattern, we'll add on. Inhale, reach up. Bakasana, exhale. Inhale, chest is lifted. Hands down. Actually, no, not hands down. Sit down. Full boat pose. Hold here, take a breath. And then come into that seated version of crow pose. Knees wide. Squeeze the knees in. Pull the knees into the chest. Press those hands into that imaginary wall. Rounding through the back. And then come down through low boat. And now we'll do that same crow pose on our backs. So bring the knees in, take the knees wide, press the hands up, squeeze the knees in. Again, trying to find maximum protraction here. So press the hands sort of up towards the sky here, squeeze those legs in, and then come back through low boat, full boat, and then downward facing dog. Let's hold our downward facing dog. We'll pause here, take a few breaths. A slow, controlled breath. If you need a child pose, now would be a fantastic time. Nice. From there, rock forward towards high plank. Just bring the knees down to the ground. Do a couple little shoulder openers. Maybe a couple little back bends before we get into crow pose. So from here, bring your hands back behind you, interlace the fingers behind your back, press knuckles down, draw the shoulder heads back, push the arms away, shoulder blades together. If that doesn't quite work for you in your body, it's all good. You can either hold onto that strap or the shirt that you had earlier with the palms facing forward, or you can hook the thumbs, interlace the fingers. So we'll hold here. Another couple breaths, whichever option you're taking. Nice. And then release that. And from here, we'll come into camel pose. So a couple different options with camel. First one would just be with sitting up on your shins. Hands like you're putting them in back pockets. Lift the chest up. Just gently lift the chest up, press forward, come into a mild little back bend here. A little bit of engagement in the glutes, the core, and then come back down. That's the first option. Next option would be either with hands on the heels, or maybe hands onto blocks, or like maybe two sturdy drink bottles or something like that, something that you could press down into. You'll work it out. From there, we sit back on the heels, bring the hands onto something. I'm going to go with the heels. From here, the shoulders lift up, draw them back. Then I press my hands into my heels, lift my chest up and forward to come into camel pose. Getting a little bit of engagement in the glutes, the core, belly's pulling in and up, breathing as best as you can. Now to come out of this pose, personally I like to just stay in the back bend and just lean back. So down on the heels and come out. Pause right there. Take a moment. We'll do actually while we pause, we'll do a little shoulder opening here as well. We'll take eagle arms. We'll go right elbow under the left. Squeeze the forearms together. Reach arms up and away from you. If that doesn't work for you, you're here with the left arm across and the forearms squeezing into each other. And you go back to eagle arms. Forearms squeezing, elbows reaching up and away from you. So up and forward. All right, release. Same thing, second side. This time, right elbow on top or right arm across. And elbows up and away, whichever option you're taking. The forearms squeezing into each other. Okay, release. And we'll do one more camel. So find your version, one of those first two. Or if you've got a little bit more range in your back bends, you can come onto the tops of the feet here as well. From here, bring those hands down, shoulders up, back. And from here, again, that chest forward. Pressing the chest forward and up. Think about pulling the belly in and then up towards your heart. Glutes are engaged, breathing. And again, when you're ready to come out, stay in the back bend, lean on back. You often see people in camel pose where, and there's totally nothing wrong with it at all, tilting the head back like that. Personally, I don't do it. It just doesn't feel comfortable on my neck. If that doesn't feel nice on your neck, then don't do that. It goes for anything in yoga, really. If it doesn't feel nice, don't do it. Okay. From here, let's set up for our crow pose. So I'll show you the setup that I like. So I'll show you front on, and then I'll show you side on as well. So firstly, I like to start with the feet together. And then from here, I sit down. I'll move back a little bit, give myself a little bit more space. I sit down from here. I take my knees wide. The knees are wide. From here, what I'm doing here with my triceps, I'm going to press my triceps into my inner knees. Find that bit of contact, pressing back, back, back. And the inner knees squeezing in. So you're pressing the triceps back, and the knees are squeezing in. From here, my fingers grip the ground, so as if I'm making this action with my fingers. Fingers grip the ground, I lift my hips up. I don't look at my feet, I look slightly forward. And from here, it's not a matter of lifting my feet up. It's a matter of leaning forward so much that my feet come up. And then you can pull them up. Pressing the ground away, finding that protraction rounding through the upper back. And then coming back down. So obviously, I'll show you from the other side as well in a sec. So if you're new to this one, don't expect that you're going to lift up your pose today. You can still do the pose. Remember, any amount of the pose is the pose. You're doing what's best with your body, with what you've got right now. So we do that same setup, triceps pressing back, fingers gripping, hips lift up a little bit, lean, look forward, and then just lean forward, bring some weight into the hands, and lean back. Forward, lean some weight into the hands, and eventually, if you feel comfortable enough, you press the ground away, you lean forward so far, the feet lift up. Breathing as best you can, squeezing the knees in, pressing the ground away, and then come back down. All right. We'll give you a moment to play with that. And just remember those key actions. Key actions, the fingertips here, gripping into the ground. That's really what stops you from falling too far forward. Think about them like as in your brakes. So as you lean forward, the fingers grip and they push you back. Lean forward, you grip, and they push you back. Okay, so it's finding that balance. So when you're first getting started with this one as well, what can help as well to get that little bit of lift in the hips, you can also do it on yoga blocks. So I'll show you the same setup. The only difference is my feet will be up on the blocks. I've got pretty long arms. I'm going to go with 2 blocks. 1 block might be sufficient for you. From there, I sit down, knees wide. My hips are already lifted here. I look forward, grip my fingers. Then I just lean forward. Maybe the feet come up. I'm pressing down. I'm trying to round through my back, squeezing the knees in. And come back down. Play with that for a moment. If you need to pause the video and watch that again, please feel free. And this is one that you can come back to. Again, don't expect that the first couple of times that you try, you're going to get this straight away. But persistence is the key here. So consistent practice, of course, and these type of poses will slowly start to open up for you. All right, so we'll get ready to cool on down there, everybody. If you want to pause and continue practicing a few more times, please feel free. And just make sure, if you do want to practice this on its own, sort of without the full class, just make sure you do at least some pretty decent warm-up for the shoulders and warm up for those wrists and the forearms. Very important. From here, let's come to downward facing dog first, everybody. Let's take a nice bent knee, downward facing dog, and press the hands down and try and reach your chest closer towards your thighs. If that's at all pinchy for you in the shoulders, then of course just back off here a little bit. Nice slow breaths. Nice. And rock forward towards high plank. Bring the knees down to the ground. Let's come all the way down to the belly. We'll take a little chest and shoulder stretch. So come into Sphinx pose. So hands out in front of you, elbows under shoulders. And from there, keep that same angle on that right arm and just step it out to the right. Hold my right elbow in line with my right shoulder. Maybe even a little bit higher will feel good. From there, the left fingertips come in by the left rib cage. Bend your left knee and start to roll toward the right side. Pressing the right forearm and hand down into the ground. Nice slow breaths. All right, come back through center. Come back through Sphinx. Same thing, second side. So the left arm steps out to the side, right hand by the right rib cage. Bending your right knee. Roll to that right side. A gentle press of the left hand, the left forearm down to the ground. And for a little bit more here, what I'm doing with this top knee, the right knee, I'm trying to rotate it more towards the right, towards the sky. All right, release that. And from there, just roll over onto your backs, everybody. We'll take a nice simple figure 4 stretch, cross the left ankle over the right thigh, lift up. A couple options, either grabbing the back of the right hamstring or the top of the right shin and pulling the knees back in towards you. And as I pull them in, I'm gently trying to draw that left knee away from me a little bit here. As I pull in, the top toes, the left toes are flexed. I actually just flex both toes. All right, from here, keep the legs as they are. Just release the arms. Then allow the legs to fall over to the right side. The left foot will come down onto the ground and the left knee is facing straight up towards the ceiling. From here, I'm going to take my right hand to my left shin and reach my left arm back behind me. I'm trying to reach the left arm as long as I can. And then with the left knee and shin, I'm trying to press it away from me towards the opposite end of my yoga mat. I'm finding some length here through the side of the body, through the front of the left hip here as well. All right, come back through center. We'll do the same thing second side. So we'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and either grabbing behind or onto the shin, and back down, gently pressing the right knee away from me, flexing the toes. Slower, more conscious breaths here as we wind down, and really start to extend out your exhales. All right, release the legs. Allow the legs to fall to the left side now. And that left or right foot will come down on the ground. Right arm reaches long back behind me. Left hand grabs for the right shin. I gently press that knee away from me towards, again, the opposite end of my yoga mat, the opposite end to where my head is. And keep reaching through the fingertips. Nice. Come back through center. And we'll take a twist. So I'm going to go with my right thigh over my left thigh, knees fairly close together. If you have a different version of the twist, feel free. Shift my hips a little bit to the right. Twist over to the left. You can stay right there with the arms in a cactus shape or maybe arms out by your side. My preference with the right arm here is to reach it up toward the back right corner of my mat in the room. A little bit of opening through the front of the chest and the shoulder. All right, come back through center. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Find your version of the twist, whether you're doing the same one as me or any other versions. Cool, right here. And I'm going to reach that left arm up now to the top left corner here. And with each exhale here, I'm thinking about, there's a bit of space here between my back of my left shoulder and the ground. I'm thinking with each breath out to how can I soften down and bring those closer together. All right, come back through center. And from here, I invite you to stay in Shavasana, 2 to 5 minutes, or however long is good for you. Me, I'm going to come and sit on up. So I hope you enjoyed that practice. Again, it's something you can come back to, work on your crow pose, if it's something that's you're interested in. It's also just a good flow and good strengthening for the shoulders, the core. As always, thank you all for your efforts and your attention today. Namaste.